Welcome to the Explainer. Out in the field, a single lift can easily be the most dangerous part of your day. So we're going to break down the essential rigging knowledge that keeps you, your crew, and the entire site safe. Let's get into it.
Let's be really clear about what we're looking at here. This isn't just some warning label. Catastrophic is the official severity rating for any lifting operation. That means when a load goes up, literally everything is on the line. We're talking lives, equipment, the entire project. There are absolutely no second chances. There is zero room for error.
So, the big question is, how do you take catastrophic completely off the table when you're on the job? Well, the answer isn't complicated, but it demands your absolute focus. It really just comes down to mastering three key areas: the rules, your gear, and the procedures. Okay, let's start with the foundation. On a busy site with a ton of moving parts, you know how it is. Confusion can be deathly. That's why you need one single source of truth that every single person follows, no matter what. And for lifting, this is it. This right here is the QSSE Mechanical Lifting Standard number 013. This document is basically your Bible for rigging. Seriously, it overrides any other manual, any other instruction. It lays out the non-negotiable requirements for every piece of gear and every single procedure. You've got to know it, respect it, and follow it to the absolute letter. All right, so we've got the rule book. Now let's connect those rules to the gear you're actually gonna have in your hands every day. Because knowing your tools is every bit as important as knowing the standard.
You're going to see these things everywhere. Sling clamps, or as a lot of people call them, dog clamps. It's a simple but really powerful device, and its whole job is to secure the end of a wire rope. It's just three parts, right? A U-bolt, a saddle, and two nuts. But, as we're about to see, how you put them together is absolutely critical.
Next up, we have the wire rope pulling hoist. You'll probably hear it called a turf war out in the field. This thing is a real workhorse for all kinds of lifting, pulling, and tensioning. But because it's so versatile, it gets a lot of use. And that's exactly why a thorough visual inspection before every single use is non-negotiable. You're looking for any sign of wear, any stress, any damage that could cause it to fail under load. And this table, man, this really drives home the level of precision we're talking about. In our line of work, there is no good enough. Just look at these torque values. For a 1-inch rope, it's 225 foot-pounds. Not 220, not 230, exactly 225. And think about why that matters. If it's too loose, the rope can slip. Too tight, and you can literally crush and damage the wire rope fibers, weakening it from the inside out. So using a calibrated torque wrench and hitting these numbers exactly, it's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. So we've got the rules, we know the tools. Now let's put it all into practice. We're going to walk through two fundamental procedures where precision isn't just a goal, it's the only option. This might sound like some old cowboy saying, but I'm telling you, it's one of the most important things to remember in rigging. This one little phrase, "never saddle a dead horse," is what will help you install a wire rope clamp correctly every single time and prevent a total failure. Let's break down exactly what it means. So what does that saying actually mean? Well, the live end of the rope, that's the long end that takes the full load, that's your horse. The saddle of the clamp has to go on this live end. The U-bolt goes on the dead or the short end of the rope. If you get this backwards, you're crushing the load-bearing fibers and creating an incredibly dangerous situation. It's that simple and that critical. Okay, let's tackle another critical connection you'll see all the time: the open wedge socket. Now, get this. Even when it's assembled perfectly, this connection only holds about 80% of the rope's original breaking strength. And that word, perfectly, is the key. If you get it wrong, that number plummets. The procedure looks pretty simple, but trust me, every detail matters. You insert the sling, you form that crucial 4-inch loop, and then you drive the wedge in firmly. The real magic happens when the load is applied. It pulls the wedge tighter, which creates this incredibly secure lock. And that final clip on the dead end, that's your insurance policy. It's not optional. Precision here is what gives you strength. So, we've covered the rules, the tools, and the procedures. But you know what? None of that matters without the final, and honestly, the most important piece: your professional mindset. This is what brings all that knowledge to life. So this is what it all boils down to. These aren't just bullet points on a slide. This is your professional code. First, the standard is law, period. Second, know your gear inside and out. Third, Precision is the only standard that matters. And finally, never ever forget what's at stake. This is the mindset that keeps you and your crew safe at the end of the day.
And that brings us to the final thought. Every single time you prepare for a lift, you are preparing for a test, and there are no retakes. So ask yourself this question before every operation. Your preparation, your focus, and your commitment to doing it right every time. That's the only passing grade there is.